Howdy folks, welcome to another Saturday review of an episode of an animated superhero TV series. Today, I'll be talking about the Batman the Animated Series episode Fire from Olympus. So strap on your spoiler hats and prepare to hear me talk about the plot of this episode before I get into the review itself. A big energy laser weapon thing is missing, and Batman pretty quickly figures out that it is in the hands of a businessman named Maxie Zeus, who is pun intended, poop insane. The rest of the episode is basically Batman trying to stop an unhinged madman who has no grasp on reality from hurting someone with a really dangerous lightning gun. Cue credits. This episode is possibly the least plotty any episode of this series has ever been. I've had problems with how fluffy some of the two-parters, like Feet of Clay for instance, have been in this series, but that's often because the creators come up with enough plot to fill up 1 1/4 episodes, and then they stretched it to fill 2 episodes. But there's no such excuse here. There's nothing going on here. This could have maybe been disguised a little bit if we had spent a little longer with Batman trying to figure out who has the energy cannon thing. But as soon as Zeus zaps a potential informant and Gordon explains who he is to Batman, Batman immediately knows who it is who did this. I guess I've been too hard on Batman's detective skills if he can just pull that information out of his butt like that. The episode also is maybe the laziest with the villain and his psychosis. Now, part of that might be from the comics, but I have no real way of knowing that. I've never really read any stories with Zeus outside of Cacophony, and in that story he really wasn't the unhinged psycho that he is here. But compare Maxie Zeus's non-motivation and non-characterization with characters like Two-Face, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, the Mad Hatter, even someone like Poison Ivy, whose motives really don't work for me, is more fleshed out and interesting than Zeus. And it's not the concept of he thinks he's a Greek god but he's not that bothers me. It's that this episode half butts it on how he got that way. His wife/girlfriend says that the stress of having to ship stuff for the mob made him that way, but that's such a lazy explanation. It's almost like the episode didn't care how he got there and just wanted to show Batman fighting a giant boar and a giant snake. Speaking of which, where did he get that giant snake and giant boar from? I half expected this episode to treat all of his Greek mythology paraphernalia like really advanced DC Universe super technology. Maybe it was stolen from Star Labs or something like that. Just like how I was fine with the Joker having a super strong hulking robot clown for a sidekick one day, I would have been fine with this explanation. And this is the explanation for some of his stuff. The Harpy gargoyles have machine gun eyes, and there's the aforementioned energy cannon thing. But then this episode half butts it on the giant snake and the boar that comes out of nowhere. This isn't to say that it's all bad. I did feel pangs of sorrow for the chica who is trying to get Maxie to focus on reality, but unfortunately that sorrow only goes one way, since Maxie shows no real desire to return to reality outside of 1 2-second lapse. In fact, it's hard for me to feel any emotions other than apathy and rage toward Maxie Zeus, since we don't ever get to see the real him. Everything about him is a facade. If I knew a little bit more about him as a person, again, like Two-Face, Clayface, or Mr. Freeze, then I might feel something when I see him willfully surrounding himself in lunacy like this. And I did like the end of the episode where Zeus thinks that Arkham is Olympus. Calling Two-Face Janos and Poison Ivy Demeter is kinda clever, but unfortunately it's the only thing about this episode that is. Now, despite my lukewarm reaction to this episode, I wouldn't have minded seeing Maxie Zeus again in this series. Just based on the end of this episode, I think it would have been really interesting to see Joker try to rally the inmates of Arkham into playing along with Zeus and his delusions so that they could all escape and make life harder on Batman. Of course, that would require someone having an interest in telling a neat story with this character, which I don't think is possible concerning this series. So those are my particularly scathing thoughts on this episode. What did you guys think of the episode and of my review? If you like the former, I'd love for you to comment here and explain why. And if you like the latter, you'll be happy to know that next weekend I'll be talking about an episode of Batman Beyond, and the weekend after that I'll tackle another episode of Batman the Animated Series. And I'd also love for you to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and watch other videos that I do throughout the week. In the meantime, I'll see you guys next week with some other videos. Take care.